Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to our 2024 presentation of the David Roche Award for Excellence in Advocacy. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Erica Klauber, the Executive Director of Children's Craniofacial Association, and it is my ultimate pleasure to be a part of this event, which has been such an affirmation of the work we do and of our community as facial difference advocates. I invite you all to make comments on the YouTube video here, and we can pop those up on the screen. Our internal panel and our audience can see those. So feel free to get engaged and share the love tonight. I always like to start this night with just a little bit of a history on how we got here to celebrate advocacy and how we've come to define advocacy and watch it evolve. Over a decade ago, a little blue book called Wonder came out. One of our board members, 𝐷𝐷 𝐷𝐸, brought us all a copy to the CCA board retreat that year and said, "This is going to be a game changer." She and our other board members pledged to go all in on bringing the message of kindness and acceptance to schools across the country. Peter Dankelson, 𝐷𝐷's son, was our first Wonder Kid, and together they started a literal tour across the country, bringing the book to life. But more importantly, showing children in schools that despite our different appearances, we are truly more alike than different. Now, I'm happy to say that we have come so far from those wonder years, as evidenced by the growth of what advocacy looks like today. Where we started is not where we are, and it's not the end of where we're going. But I like to acknowledge these steps that got us there. Back in the day, dozens of other CCA kids joined on as student speakers, and through this program, we recognized the power of self-advocacy. We know that when kids speak confidently publicly, they can stand up to bullies. They can ask for help when they need it. They can ask another student out on a date, and they can ace a job interview. This program isn't just educating the world about facial differences, it's changing the way that CCA kids see themselves. Advocacy takes the question that we all sometimes ask, usually looking in the mirror with tears welling up in our eyes, why was I born this way? Into an emphatic, proud statement that we proclaim, I am born to do this. We've taken on a challenge to create a speakers bureau. Khadijah Moten, who started with an intern and is now our outreach director, facilitates, manages, and grows our speakers bureau. And tonight you can see the further evidence of what an amazing job she's doing. She's consulted with so many of our past mentors, David Roche, Marlena Blavin, Patricia Simon, the Dankelson family, Dr. Jazz Gray, Rashira Dobson, and others to build a library of training videos, tip sheets, and resources that our speakers train with. She also coordinates and manages speaking engagements by interfacing with schools and tracks all of these encounters to send feedback and reinvest in the program. But one of the biggest investments that we're coming to realize year after year is that we must continue equipping folks to handle the emotional highs and lows of being an advocate. Going into schools and other forms of advocacy is a place where people open up to you and often share back their own stories of bullying, isolation, and trauma. We have to equip our advocates to ride those waves and to know how to handle that emotional labor. So over the past 2 years, we've worked on that, and we've also continued our public awareness work with our outreach series on YouTube, which is basically a video podcast. We recognize that we don't need actors to portray our stories when we have so much talent within this community. Aaliyah Booker is one of those talents, and she's been our intern for 2 years. She spearheaded our outreach program, and she's interviewed over 41 people to date, which is amazing. Both Aaliyah and Brianna Legner, Miss Illinois contestant and the reigning Miss Moline 2024, who is also a school-based speech and language pathologist, conduct interviews on a rolling basis, creating representation for our community. Because if our kids can see it, they can be it. When people witness the diversity of lives people with facial differences lead, it empowers them and inspires them to dream up ideas of their own and to chase those dreams with confidence and pride. These interviews have truly changed advocacy for the better, And we are so grateful to Aaliyah, Brianna, and Khadijah. In addition to the outreach series, Aaliyah has done an incredible amount of other advocacy, which she'll talk about in a moment. And she was named the 2023 David Roche Award winner, along with 2 posthumous awards given to our beloved Scott Guzzo and PJ Rainafarhe. But I want you, our audience, to know that the work of advocacy isn't just done in front of a camera. We continue to partner with organizations like Face Equality International to define facial difference as a human rights issue and push harder than ever before for protections due to people with facial differences, and to understand and claim, when appropriate, membership in and responsibility to the disability community. There are many advocates right in their own communities organizing parent support groups, regional get-togethers, fundraising events, and working tirelessly to connect new parents to veteran parents, patients to doctors and hospitals, and offering hours of supportive communication and finding ways to connect others. I want to remind you that it is advocacy to be the first patient undergoing a new type of jaw distraction. And it is advocacy to allow residents and fellows to sit in on your annual appointments. It is advocacy to educate yourself as an ally and to learn how to support the disability community appropriately. If you tonight are wondering how to do that, CCA is happy to point you in the right direction of some amazing educators out there and resources that will deepen your allyship. I am so grateful for the work that our advocates do so generously, selflessly, and widely. I am in awe of the stories that we read and the hearts who shared them. It has been one of the best experiences of the year to read these nominations, and I wish I could read every one of them aloud to you tonight. But we will be reading the names of all of our nominees. Each of their stories submitted had one thing in common: boundless, persistent love. And tonight, as are all of my interactions with the esteemed David Roche, they're about love. So now I'm going to introduce David, and it will be my pleasure to let him address you tonight. So David Roche, CM, and his wife, Marlena Blavin, are heroes to CCA. They have supported us for many years now with mentorship, guidance, volunteer work, speaking engagements, and financial support. They exude love for one another, not just as life partners, but as fully expressive human beings. They see one another's unique brilliance and celebrate it and lift it up in the best possible way. David and Marlena have made this award possible, and tonight I am so excited to tell you that David is our man of the hour and made of love. He was awarded the Order of Canada for making the US and Canada a better place as an advocate for facial difference rights and as an iconic pioneer in disability culture. He has appeared from New Zealand to Moscow to the UK, across Canada and the US, including the White House, as a humorist, solo performer, actor, and filmmaker. He is featured in the NFB's film Shameless. He's an author of The Church of 80% Sincerity, and most recently, he had a feature role as Otis in the film Happy Face. David loves working with children, and he and his wife Marlena produced the educational video Love at Second Sight, which is available at no charge at loveatsecondsight.org. He and Marlena live in Roberts Creek, British Columbia. So now, David, our beacon of light and love, I invite you to share.
Whoa! Thank you, Erica. I don't know how to act to follow after all that. I thank you very much. I appreciate your description of me, and I am honored to be here with the people from CCA, from Khadijah, with Khadijah and Erica, and all the other CCA people. And that was a great description of what CCA does, Erica. It makes me very proud to be affiliated with you and on the team, as does Marlena feel the same way. I think I have something to offer tonight a little bit. I started on stage by myself 35 years ago, over a third of a century. Back then, there was not a community of people with facial difference. People were organized into their own groups, the Cleft Palate Association, the Phoenix Society for Burn Survivors, Mobius Syndrome Foundation, and on and on. People are in their own silos. And then there are also clinics that were advertising themselves, particularly cosmetic surgeons. People work in the various aspects of facial difference. And people ask me, particularly kids, ask me, why did you get on stage? What made you decide, as a person with a notable facial difference, to go out there all by yourself? And I have always answered that, well, I don't know exactly. I just did. I just wanted to do it. But now, actually, I understand better what I did. You could use this term, counterphobic. That means phobic is a fear, and counter is coming up against the fear. Definitely, I have had experiences of being discriminated against, being judged, poked fun at, things like that. But at my core, I really believe in myself. And that's how I got on stage. I thought that, okay, and now I see that I am cute and charming and funny and informative. Great qualities for being on stage. Okay, I didn't quite believe in all of that for a couple of years. People would tell me, oh, you're great. Oh, you're funny. Oh, you changed my life. And I always thought, well, they're just like being nice to the little disfigured guy. But they weren't. They were complimenting me. And that's what I carry. That's what I carry onto the stage. In the audience, people tend to link to me because the truth is that everybody feels disfigured. And here's someone like me who is definitely, clearly disfigured, being cute and charming and funny and educational. And that's irresistible to people. What I'm saying is that those of us who have a facial difference have an advantage over the able-faced because we have learned we have to find our beauty inside ourselves and we have to believe in ourselves. All these people in CCA are that way, and people who have been awarded the David Roche Award for Excellence in Advocacy are definitely that way. You'll see them tonight to a great degree. So that's who I am, and I feel honored beyond measure to be with this new generation. Actually, 𝐸𝐬𝐬 is pretty young, so I think it's 2 new generations back. Whatever, they're all great. Appreciate them tonight. And thank you again, Erica. I appreciate your beautiful words. Take care.
Thank you so much, David. And yes, I love highlighting that we are the whole complete package: cute, funny, smart, athletic, and so much more. I don't appreciate as much you pointing out that I'm in a different generation than 𝐸𝐬𝐬, but I'll let it slide. Speaking of the other generation, I am super grateful to introduce someone that is my peer, but has also been an incredible educator to me. 𝐸𝐬𝐬 Dobson is one of our 2022 recipients, and she has a message to share with us tonight. So before we play her message, I am going to give a little bit of a bio and background about 𝐸𝐬𝐬, who is a wonderful person I look up to. Rashira Dobson, MPH, is a motivational speaker, podcaster, author, DEI consultant, and qualitative research fellow at the Institute of Human Development at Northern Arizona University, in which her intersectional approach to systems thinking has supported organizations and their teams to advance equity and mitigate health disparities and multiple marginalized communities through community engagement, policy development, education, and advocacy. She founded the Dobson Foundation, whose organizational aim is to advance professional, health, and social equity for women and girls with disabilities. Along with the David Roche Award for Excellence in Advocacy, Rashira received 2 additional awards in 2022. The Fearless Woman Global Community Impact Award and the Women's History Month Advocacy Award recipient for 2022. And again, that was a lot of words in Rashira's bio, but I want to highlight that what she's doing is so important because as people with facial differences know, when you go into a new doctor's office and you have to give this litany of all the things that have ever happened, you want to feel like an equal person and not looked at for your intersecting disabilities or identities. And so Rashira is really doing some amazing work that needs to be brought to the forefront. And we are so grateful to have her doing that in a professional capacity. So I would love to listen to Rashira's statement.
Hey community, it's Rashira Dobson here, and although it saddens me to know that I will not be with you on tonight, please know that I'm there with you in spirit. You know, the David Roche Advocacy Award is so instrumental to spotlighting the advocates and allies within our communities. Without your advocacy resilience, our communities would fail to have the proper representation, education, and awareness to people who are born and who acquire facial differences and craniofacial disabilities. And so to the awardee tonight, I want to congratulate you and wish you much success and endurance in your advocacy journey. I always like to say that advocacy is not a sprint, it is a marathon. And so keeping the end goal in mind, please believe that you are making change one step at a time. It doesn't matter how quick the change comes, but what matters is your persistence, your endurance, your patience, and most of all, the compassion and love that you have for the community. And so to all the staff who's been working behind the scenes, thank you for your support. And I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Thank you so much, Rashira, for sharing that message. One of the hallmarks of this award is that awardees continue to help select the next recipient. So I am super lucky. I get to interface with this amazing cohort of folks once a year during the nominations process. And as such, we love to check in with them and share what they're up to year after year with you all as well. As I mentioned earlier, it was an especially eventful year for 𝐸𝐲 Booker. And so she's going to share a few words with you next, and I will introduce her now. 𝐸𝐲 is a facial difference and disability advocate. She is a recent graduate from St. Peter's University in Jersey City, New Jersey, with a bachelor's in biology, aspiring to work in the medical field. 𝐸𝐲's mission in life is to forever share her story in different aspects and to inspire young kids and teens out there who physically look different, that we are more than just our differences. She recently ran for Miss New Jersey USA beauty pageant by making history, being the first woman ever with a facial difference to perform. 𝐸𝐲 excitedly has officially started her own business, Born to Stand Out, that focuses on self-love and acceptance. You can find her on all social media platforms celebrating her uniqueness, especially on YouTube, interviewing others within the facial difference community for them to share their stories as well as their accomplishments and goals. And 𝐸𝐲 is just a beacon of energy, and she's brought so much to the CCA community and the facial community, difference community at large. I am so proud that we've gotten to work with her. I feel like it is truly such a gift that Khadijah and I have gotten to learn from 𝐸𝐲, and to share time with her has been such a blessing. So 𝐸𝐲, let's hear what you've been up to.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Erica, for that amazing intro. Oh my gosh, it is such a blessing to be here tonight. This whole award show, it means so much, and I love how we're recognizing each individual for what everyone is doing. Thank you, Miss Erica, for everything that you are doing. As an executive director for CCA, you have just given us so much resources. You just have given us so much personality and just been such a light to everyone, especially for me, and for letting me into this organization. Um, Thank you, David and Marlene, for just having this award show, for just having everyone being here and just like how I said, being recognized for what we do, because for what we do, it really, really matters. It truly matters because representation goes a long way. And thank you, Rashira, for providing that, wisdom. We always need a good wisdom, and it's so good to see you here tonight. I want to thank the whole CCA, including Miss Khadija, Tara, Annie, Christine, and everyone on the board of CCA for making CCA just the beautiful family that we are. We are so lucky to just be here together and just to hear from one another and just hear different stories and hear our unique stories, because that is what helped us grow as a community, and that helps us expand us, and that helps us be who we are. And I'm just thinking back of what Erica just mentioned in the intro. Like, sometimes I forget of everything I have done for the community. And like I said, it's such a blessing to be able to do that, because growing up, I didn't have representation. So my main goal now is to be that representation, not only for myself, but for the community, for the youth, so they can see that and so they can follow the footsteps that I'm doing. So, like how I literally say to my family and to everyone, like, I literally do what I do just to pave the way for the younger generation so they can see that anything is possible. As Erica mentioned, this is my mission in life, to forever share my story in different aspects to inspire young kids, teens out there who physically look different, that we are more than just our differences. Being an advocate has made me more open-minded, determined, hungry to learn more about my community and how I can truly make a difference. Like she mentioned, I recently ran for Miss New Jersey USA. Like, that is insane. Like, I am not a beauty pageant girl, but like, I had to put my pride aside and realize, okay, Leah, you are an advocate. You have to follow your fears. And yeah, following your fears can be maybe a little tricky and maybe like scary, but this was something that I just had to do, not only for the facial difference community, but for so many communities, for women in general, young teens, just anyone who physically look or feel out of place, feel like they don't belong in this world. I just want to make a statement that we are seen, we are heard, and I wanted to make it known that beauty comes in all shapes, forms, and sizes, and that we are all in this together. So walking down that runway during the whole, like, it was like over like 100 people, and obviously I was nervous, but I was more excited. And I never felt that rush ever in my life before, like walking down that runway, and it felt so powerful. I felt like I was walking on cloud nine. I'm not even joking. And to be the first woman with a facial difference to own that stage, oh, it just hit different. And just to know that there was so many other people watching me, like I had judges all around me. I was I had practice for 3 days straight. It was a 3 day weekend through the whole beauty pageant, and we had rehearsals from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. And it was nonstop rehearsals. And that even motivated me more, because okay, you have to discipline yourself. You have to be focused. You have to, be modest, graceful. And those little things taught me how to present myself. And that made me even more confident. It made me more open. It made me more sassy and like how to walk the runway. So I would say that was really such a monumental and momental part of my life that I'm so happy that I was able to do. And I'm so happy I opened that door for everyone or anyone that watches or watched me on social media. And I hope, I plan to do so much more within that. Again, it has been such an empowering opportunity interning with CCA. CCA has molded me into the person I've always wanted to be. And being able to share my craniofacial journey and to be a light for others has truly been a blessing. As you guys know, I started my advocacy journey 2 years ago, and ever since then, my life changed rapidly. And I love to tell the story because it really is important and it really goes to the message, which I will state. My advocacy journey started when I was just scrolling on Instagram and I happened to see this girl with the same syndrome. Her name is Emily Merrill. I always shout her out because without her, I would not be the person I am today. So she had the same syndrome as me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, whoa. I never seen someone that had the same syndrome as me or a facial difference in my life. And I automatically message her. I'm like, hey girl, like I would love to get in contact with you. Like if you need any advice, like we're in the same boat. And then boom, she led me into CCA, and that's how all things got started. But I wanted to mention that story because representation really matters. If I hadn't seen Emily, I honestly would not be the person I am today. I honestly would be the shy girl that it used to be. And everyone seems to get shocked whenever I say like, oh, I was so shy back then. Like I literally was shy, and that was due to lack of representation. So I always give a huge shout out to Emily Merrill because without representation, you never know who you're inspiring. So for that, Emily was my inspiration. So I always give her flowers and praise. Another big, I love this thing. The CCA outreach series. My girl, Miss 𝐾𝐚𝐯𝐲𝐿, who is the outreach director. Me and her, we've been working with spreading awareness on facial difference. Like Miss Erica mentioned, we have interviewed 40 people so far, and many more to come. And it just has been so cool to see how the community is just expanding and more stories is just being shared, and for people trusting us with their story. Like that is so powerful. Like people are trusting us to share their story. And it's so powerful for me to hear them. For me to ask them, oh, like what inspired you? What made you, be ready? Because I feel like that's such a monumental point in everyone's life, because not sharing your story isn't so easy. And when it comes to advocacy, you don't have to share your story at all. Like you don't have to vocally share it. There's so many ways you can advocate. Like I mentioned, you can advocate just by being yourself, by going out in public. Like when I started advocating, I was like around 21 years old. I was like not ready to, be vocal. But for me, I'm such a very hard on myself. I'm like, oh, Aaliyah, you have to do this because you have a whole community ahead of you, watching you. So I was like, yeah, I have to do this and do that. But for others, you can just go out, just being yourself, just go outside because society, just them looking at us, it's just, they don't know that we're able to talk, walk, or even do the regular things. So advocacy can come in so many different ways. And like I said, it's you just being comfortable in your own skin. And that's really is a key on living just a great life, And I say just do it with confidence and grace. To my young ones, to my teens, to my kids, you are sharing your story. So you can express it however you want it to be. Don't let anyone tell you different. Your story is your story. And no one can take that away from you. And once you tell your story, oh my gosh, the feeling is so indescribable. And I tell everyone that who is like ready to tell their story in their own way, do it how you want it. There is no certain way to advocate. It's basically on your personality, your vibe, your style. If you guys follow me on Instagram, I'm very into the fashion, very into like the streetwear and just being myself. And that's advocating. Just you being yourself. And that just makes it so much fun. So much fun. And I want to thank everyone again who has contributed to this incredible award show for this excellence in advocacy. I cannot wait to see I can't wait to see who won this year's award show. And I just want to wish everyone a blessed night, and yeah, everyone continue to step into your greatness and just being you. Because just being you, that's you stepping into your power. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Aaliyah. I feel so energized after talking to you. And yes, living authentically is absolutely a form of advocacy. And so thank you for pushing that bar forward. And I've thought about this a lot from working with some of the younger people in our community. I love that you guys do not ask for permission. And I think that is so bold and so brave, and you just live authentically and you don't ask permission to be who you are. And so I say, keep that up, keep pushing the bar, and keep showing the way that is done. So thank you, Aaliyah, for sharing that with us. We will be forever grateful for the contributions you've made to CCA, and we're excited to see how you continue your work.
Thank you.
We do want to move into the award portion of our evening. So that is where we are going. I am going to introduce our outreach director, who we've mentioned, 𝐾𝐯. She's going to read the process by which we choose this award. And I will do that now. 𝐾𝐯 𝐸𝐻𝑚oten is our outreach director. In addition to doing nearly 100% of our graphic design, social media, print material creation, a large part of 𝐾𝐯's job still is working with our speakers, advocates, and training our interns. She is passionate, organized, and deeply thoughtful. I value her judgment, perspective, and work ethic immensely. And it is my pleasure tonight to have her talk about the program, the Speakers Bureau, and the process by which we choose the David Roche Award for Excellence in Advocacy.
Thank you so much, Erica. I am so excited to be here to celebrate another year of David's legacy of broadening acceptance and inclusion for the facial difference community. So as Erica said, I'm just going to kind of explain how this process works. So we started collecting nominations this year in July with the following guidelines. The David Roche Award for Excellence in Advocacy is an annual award bestowed on a speaker, educator, storyteller, artist, medical professional, or even a family member in the facial difference community who has gone above and beyond to advance the status of people with facial differences, promote acceptance and appreciation of appearance diversity, and challenge the stigma that surrounds physical differences. The award is named in honor of the esteemed David Roche, CM, for his lifelong dedication to opening minds and connecting hearts, and for his invaluable mentorship and support to the staff of Children's Craniofacial Association. David is a champion of love. He seeks to break down barriers and build bridges between diverse communities. David is an incredible listener who, after years of finding and honing his own voice, has lifted thousands of voices and helped them reach new audiences. David cultivates confidence and creates spaces for conversation. His core characteristics of warmth, wit, and authenticity have changed the hearts of many and lifted the spirits of those in the facial difference community. It is with our utmost gratitude for his body of work and genuine interest in giving back that we established this award in his name. The award will be given each September, which is Craniofacial Acceptance Month. The award will come with a monetary honorarium of $500. The award will be selected by the David Roche Award for Excellence in Advocacy Committee, which is made up of Children's Craniofacial Association's Executive Director, Outreach Director, David Roche, and past award recipients. Nominations for the award will be solicited each year from June to July, and the committee will meet in August to review nominations and select a winner. Selected recipients may come from submitted nominations, but do not have to be chosen from the nominations collected. The award is meant to be received only once per person. The recipient should display characteristics that embody David's lifetime of work: remarkable spirit, warmth, wit, and authenticity. The award will be presented live virtually, if possible, every year. Then we meet as a committee to sort through and sort out how to pick a winner. It's never an easy process, no matter how many nominees there are. However, we did come to a unanimous agreement this year. Oops. Oh, Erica, I think you're on mute.
Thank you. I said it is time to read those nominees this year.
Yes.
Our nominees were Ashley Barber, Ben Kerr, Britt Underwood, Carolina Sommer, Daniel Jensen, Don, Kathy, and Elizabeth Sears, Evan Wolkenstein, Kara Jackman, though she is ineligible to win. We are so happy that she's nominated every year. Shelby Rand, Sora J. Kasuga, Tina Raj, and Tony Elizabeth Wilkerson. Now I would like to bring back David Roche, who will formally announce our winner.
Geez, after listening to you, Aaliyah, I'm just like bubbling over. I just feel like, wow, the rest of my life is going to be filled with energy and excitement, and I'm ready to get going now. And I'm 80 years old. So good luck, kid, young one. And I am swimming in joy right now. All the nominees, I know a number of them, and it's a great collection of people, but I really think that Sarah Kasuga is very, very, very deserving of this award. Okay, it's the David Roche Award for Excellence in Advocacy. I've known her for a couple of years now. I've had the pleasure of working with her. I've had the pleasure of observing her. I've had the pleasure of being inspired by her. It's just a great relationship. She is going to tell you about herself, and that's good. But she works with building community. She has worked with the United Nations. She has reached out to Face Equality International. Remember when I started out this discussion that I talked about how everyone was divided into their own silos? Now we are international. And it has come about because of all these people who are nominees, and most especially those of you who are award winners and have it recognized. But there are many more in line with you. So I am inspired, I am pleased, I am overjoyed to present the award for Excellence in Advocacy to Sarah Kasuga. Sarah, you ready to accept the award?
I'm ready.
Okay, here it comes. Here you go. Take it. Oh, you got it. Yay!
Thank you so much, David. This is amazing. I am so inspired by you every day. This is an incredible honor. Thank you, Erica, Aaliyah, Rashira, Khadijah, Marlena, the entire freaking team down at CCA Kids who work tirelessly for our community. Thank you so much. So when I was growing up, I didn't want to be me, and I'm sure a lot of people have had this experience. For me, I wanted to have blonde hair and blue eyes, and I wanted a symmetrical face. It was a tall order. But even though I didn't want to be who I knew I was, I still carried with me a sense of self-worth. I grew up dancing and performing on stage. And to be fair, I grew up in a family that was incredibly loving and supportive, a family that expected me to do great things, which was really annoying sometimes because it meant I had to wake up at 5 a.m. and practice piano. Yeah. So that said, I know how lucky I was that, and how much more challenging my journey would have been if I didn't have that support. After college, I moved from Arizona to Cleveland, Ohio, to take an internship, and really quickly realized that the career path that I was on was not a good fit anymore. But at the same time, I had started dancing with a local performance art company, and they hired me to do my first gig. And this is significant. Not once did anyone ever question whether I deserved to be there because of my face. In fact, the very first day that I walked in, a guy walked up to me. I was like, "You're gorgeous. I just lost a model tonight for a fashion show that I'm putting on. Would you be willing to take her place?" And I don't know, I guess I'm somewhat self-aware, but I was like, "Oh yeah, sure, of course." It didn't even like ding in my head that this is not normal, right? This is not a typical experience. And that was this company, that was this experience. The company called 𝐷𝐴𝐴 was the reason I became a professional circus artist. They gave me the knowledge and tools to become a freelancer. They were always so generous with information. And they encouraged me to go to circus school to finish up my training. Last year, I was invited to speak at the United Nations for the Conference of States Parties on the Convention of the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. I and 4 other speakers delivered a panel aimed at revealing the human rights violations that are experienced by members of the global facial difference community. I was tasked with talking about my workplace experience. I spoke about the discrimination and loss of work I experienced in the entertainment industry because of the stigma against visible difference. Before launching my career, I didn't know how incredibly rare a company like 𝐷𝐴𝐴 was. It wasn't until a decade into my career that I discovered the facial difference community. I had never been interested in communing with others who lived with visible difference. But when I found it, I knew I could never, ever go back. Around that time, I was also finding Japanese American community online because we are very few and far between where I live. But in doing these things and finding my communities, it was like I was calling back to myself the very integral parts of who I was and embracing the fact that I was finally ready to love who I was instead of trying to fit into a mold that was not built for me. And I began to feel whole. This year, I created the Face Out Project. It's a grassroots effort to empower and build community amongst people living with facial difference around the world. We meet virtually every Monday night for an activism cohort, 7 p.m. Eastern. It is a space just for us. It's a space where we can share stories and speak love and healing towards each other's lived experiences. It's a place where we can take back our power and create change for ourselves and for others like us. So far, we have had members come in from 4 different countries and all over the US. We've talked about what defines the culture of our community, how we can address the mental health crisis experienced by facially different people that's caused by societal stigma, how we can use our experiences to make change in our local communities. We've taken action on a number of issues ranging from addressing Hollywood due to a horrific SNL skit that happened earlier this year, to writing to our representatives about how AI discriminates against people with facial differences at the DMV, to starting a conversation with peer support, with the peer support movement, different organizations throughout the US to include facial difference in their trainings. None of us are doing this work because it's easy. We're doing it because we have hope. In our group, we have a number of people in their 70s and 80s, and David is included in that. These elders have been in the fight for decades before many of us were even born. These elders are the backbone of our movement. Our movement is built on their passion, and I want to take a moment to honor their work and give gratitude in the highest regard. So thank you, David, and thank you to all those who have laid the path for us. I feel like I can see the future coming down the pipe, and to be fair, it's a long pipe, but I can see it. I see a changed world, one where we are no longer disabled by societal attitudes. I see a world where the acceptance of visible difference helps lead societies into collective liberation of all social movements, from queer and trans people to people of color to the disability community as a whole. Because so much bias, bigotry, and violence begin with negative attitudes towards how someone looks. We who are facially different exist in all corners of society, and we bring with us deep wisdom that can only be forged through the fires of being shut out, beat down, and even killed because of something as arbitrary as our appearance. We know how to make the world a more inclusive place because we've experienced the exact opposite. As you have heard David say, we have an advantage because we know how to find our own inner beauty, our worth. And when we win this fight, that energy will ripple out exponentially. I mentioned my Cleveland crew, SAFMOD, earlier. That magical community showed me that this vision is possible. My family and friends, including my amazing husband, who never once asked about my face, showed me that this vision is possible. The directors, producers, and agents who not only hired me, but put me in headlining roles, showed me that this vision is possible. I cannot stress this enough, though. This is not the norm, but it should be, and it will be. These examples show that there is real life precedence for it. When I was still living in Ohio, my roommate and I would wake up on the weekends and we would have coffee together. We would talk about starting a love tour, a conference or festival of sorts where humans would come together and be immersed in loving ourselves and each other. It was a half-baked idea at the time, but I realize now that that is what this is. This fight, it's a fight born out of love. It's a fight that's defined by knowing the intrinsic worth of every person on this planet, regardless of how they look, and the belief that we all have the right to thrive fully in society. CCA kids, when you host your annual retreat, that's a stop on the love tour. When we gather online every Monday night to make change, that's a stop on the love tour. But most importantly, when we find our inner worth, when we embrace each other's experiences, when we are able to find gentleness and compassion towards ourselves and then extend that outwards, that is the love that makes this tour possible. This is a long fight. I honestly don't know how much change I will see in my lifetime. But if the work of activists pass, and the energy of those working tirelessly right now are any indication, I know that we're going to get there. David, I love you so much. Thank you for everything you are in my life. You are my friend, my mentor, a kindred spirit, and a fellow quirky human. Thank you to Josh, who is my everything, who keeps me laughing straight through the day and who has always met me exactly where I am. And to my family, who are my foundation. CCA kids, thank you for uplifting and amplifying the voices of the facial difference community and for all of your tireless work to provide support to families of children with facial difference. To all the allies watching tonight, thank you for your incredible support and for centering us in this conversation, passing the mic to us so that we could be heard. And to my beloved facial difference community, thank you for your vulnerability, your power, your love, and for your endless belief in our ability to make change. Back to you, Erica.
Sora, thank you so much. I am crying and sweating, and that was absolutely, absolutely beautiful. You deserve so much applause. Your words have me taken off of my little where I was standing to read everything, but in the best way possible. Thank you for sharing from your heart a bit of your story. I am so happy that you are this year's award recipient. And I am so grateful to all of our community members who bring such amazing stories and such heart. And I love the Stop on the Love tour. I need to go there multiple times a year. And I'm so glad that I have found where those stops are. And when I need them, I know how to get on the train and go right there. So you're exactly right. We're building it. And everyone in our community plays such an important role. Thank you, Sora, for accepting the award tonight, for sharing with us. Oh my goodness. To our audience, our amazing audience, and to people who will watch this hopefully many years down the road as well. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for watching tonight. We as CCA look forward to continuing this tradition every year, recognizing truly amazing individuals for their work in the facial difference community as advocates. And if you didn't see someone tonight who you wanted to see up there, I challenge you, be the nominator, nominate that person, bring their work to light, because we are a big family and an inclusive family, and we want to share the stories and the lives of our community with others. We will open those nominations in June 2025. So make sure that you sign up for our email list so that you can be informed of that and stay in touch with us. But just once again, a huge round of applause for Sora and her very heartfelt words. Thank you so much. Congratulations on this award. Thank you, David. Thank you, Aaliyah. Thank you, Rashir and Khadijah, for being here tonight. And of course, to Dr. Jazz Gray and to Scott and PJ, our posthumous award recipients. You are the embodiment of the David Roche Award. So thank you all. I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and we will stay in touch. And Arden, yes, our wonderful interpreter. Thank you for being with us tonight. Have a good night, everyone.